Welcome back to everybody to episode 138 of Stream with the Mouse. Right today, we are talking about episode 2 of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. A great Marvel episode. Really funny. Excited to talk about it with you all. Sit back, relax. This is Stream with the Mouse. Welcome back, everybody, to episode 138 of Streaming with the Mouse. My name is Cam Ramos, and joining me, as always, is my co-host, my co-pilot, the She-Hulk to my Jennifer Walters, or the Emil Blonsky to my Abomination. Cliff, say hello, nice people.
So you're telling me we're not talking about House of the Dragon episode 2?
Can I
all of
be on
my
the trust
notes
tree real quick?
All of my notes are out the window right now.
Can we be on the trust tree real quick?
Have you not watched it?
I have not. I forget what I was doing Sunday, and then yesterday I was running around literally everywhere at night, so I did not get a chance to watch it yet.
I believe you were
on the docket tonight.
I believe you were at a Revs game.
That's exactly where I was at. Yes, I was. Thank you. I can't remember what I did last night.
I remember the video of the guy that ran on the field.
Yes, I was at.
I thought it was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. The running on the field. I know you're not supposed to do it.
Let me just say, it was the most athletic thing I've ever seen. This guy jumped a good 15 feet to get on the field. Shouldn't do it, but athletic. But
there you go.
Let's get into some news before we talk about episode 2 of She-Hulk, Attorney at Law, or Attorney for Hire, as it says at the end of the episode, which is a little funny, or at the beginning of the episode. But,
yeah.
Cliff, any news that we got?
Not a whole lot. We know that for some reason there's a Wonder Man series being made by Disney Plus. I can't tell you one thing about Wonder Man. Supposedly, the actor that will be playing Wonder Man is someone that was just on FX that was very popular. I don't know. I haven't dug into it. But Ben Kingsley will reprise his role as Trevor Slattery in the MCU and Wonder Man. I don't know.
I don't even know who that is. I love Marvel. I don't know who that is. I barely know Wonder Man. I think he's been in maybe Old Man Logan comics, if I remember. But even that is
Ben Kingsley's fun. He was funny in Shang-Chi. And other than that, we got the Pinocchio trailer.
That was pretty cute. It looked good.
It looks fun. I'm not a huge Pinocchio fan, but I will be watching it. So
yeah, for sure.
Not a lot, though. I think, like I said, they've been holding back a lot. I think it's because Disney Plus Day. Oh, I did watch Lightyear. I still
have not.
I did like it. I did like it.
Maybe that's on my docket for this long weekend, this long holiday weekend. But we'll figure that out. But Cliff, should we get into episode 2 of She-Hulk?
Let's get on to it.
Before we get into our top 5 initial thoughts on the episode, thoroughly enjoyed it on my end here. I don't know about you, Cliff.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think the way you have to look at it is that this is the first true comedy. This is the first true sitcom to me.
For the shows, at least, because obviously we got Ragnarok.
This is like the sitcom. This is if I was sitting down to watch Seinfeld, or if I was sitting down to watch something, that's what it's like, because WandaVision was a parody of it. This is the actual sitcom.
Yeah, and so far, I'm really enjoying it. So let's talk about it. Top 5 from this episode of She-Hulk. Cliff, you can start us off if you'd like.
I can start. Well, where do I want to put this? I'll start with it. I really liked the reemergence of the chilled out Emil Blonsky, and seeing Tim Roth come in, act, and kind of just be this I'm better now. The haikus, it was just a funny thing altogether, where it's he's found peace, but also you have the really serious aspects of his point of view from what happened. Yeah. Because if we can assume, wasn't it? I've never seen the original Hulk.
Really?
I have not seen the one with Tim Roth in it as Abomination.
Okay.
But I do know it's that he was injected with partially Hulk DNA, wasn't he? So
he was infected with super soldier serum.
Yes.
And then a little bit of the
Hulk gene.
Yeah.
So he probably was not in full control of himself either. At least.
And he says as much in this.
Yeah. So it is kind of like he thought he was going to be the next big thing. He thought he was going to be this. He was going to be XYZ. No, he turns out to be the villain. And that's the end of it. And now he's stuck in prison. But his whole arc is going to be interesting, because what is he going to be? Someone brought up that this show is missing something very crucial. And I do agree with it, and that they are missing General Ross. General Ross, I think, would have been a major factor of this show.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the actor has passed away. And I don't think, because of how long he was in the MCU, I don't think you can recast him. I think now it makes sense
No.
that the Thunderbolts will be we're honoring our fallen general, and we're
Hmm.
naming this team after him, and it was his final concept before he left. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely thinking Emil will be on the Thunderbolts when
I
all
also
is said
agree.
and done. So that is my number 5.
Awesome. I'm not going to talk too much about that because I'm going to talk about it later. But my number 5 is I think this job is doing a really good job at a balancing act. And I think some of these Marvel shows have been tough at balancing this. But I think it's a good introduction to the character of Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk, even though they're one and the same. It's a good introduction to both of them, as well as helping to move the story forward in an MCU aspect. Like, it's not too much on her backstory. It's not just, like, also assuming you know everything from the comics, which I think is, like, I've always said, it's nice when the MCU doesn't, like, hold their hand on everything, but that's within the MCU. This is our first time meeting Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk in these first 2 episodes. And I think they're doing a really good job at moving things forward, but also helping connect things back to Phase 4. I think I brought that up last week in last week's episode too. I'm really liking that we're finally getting this interconnected pieces of Phase 4. Obviously, this week the big one was Abomination and the underground fighting ring that he was a part of that we see in Shang-Chi. So that's now getting put back in this a little bit. So that's been really, really good in my opinion of how we're getting all this interconnected while also introducing Jennifer as a character, because it's episode 2. She doesn't need an introduction, but we still need to learn things about her. We met her family this week, so I think they've been doing a really good job at that.
Yeah, the family part. I'm going to talk about the family later, because that was fun. But yeah, it's slow acclimation, which is what it's supposed to be. We have the 9 episodes.
9 episodes total. Yep.
We have 9 episodes. We have a lot of time to kill, and this pacing so far, I'm liking it better. I will expect to get a little bit more fisty, like a little bit more punchy in the next episode or 2. But I have a belief who's going to be in episode 3. But
before you go to your number 4, I'm going to do my number 4 just because my 4 and 5 are really the same kind of thing. So I talked about the good job balancing, but my number 4 was straight up the connectedness back to Phase 4. So I'm hoping we learn more about like Abomination and Wong's relationship, because they obviously seem friendly in Shang-Chi. I'm assuming we're going to see Wong in this next episode. So we'll see that too. So while I said like the connected part is my number 5, the number 4 is specifically the connected part to Phase 4 that we've gotten so far in both these episodes, but especially in this one right here with a movie in Phase 4, because really the Hulk thing was a connectedness back to Phase 3 quite a bit with the Infinity Saga, but also with his Bruce being Bruce instead of Smart Hulk in episode 4. Geez, I meant to say Shang-Chi. So the connectedness is my number 4. So you're number 4, and then we'll jump to number 3s.
They really hit us over the head with that Hulk joke, I will say.
Yeah,
I'm like a completely different person, but appreciate it. Whatever. That's Marvel can be lighthearted like that. My number 4 is going to be a little bit. It's just a quick what's next. And not even with this show, but where is Hulk going? And it sounds like we're getting very close to hinting at World War Hulk. And it's very funny to me because the biggest complaint recently is, oh, Hulk's such a loser now, blah, blah, blah. Like, where was like the destructive, destroy everything, yada, yada, yada. He is now leaving Earth. He is gone. People are taking the guess that maybe we're finally going to get a World War Hulk movie. I don't know if they're allowed to make Hulk movies yet. I don't know if you know that or not. I know that they weren't allowed to make a solo Hulk movie.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to incorporate something else with it if they do this, basically.
But I think it would be interesting to see like Bruce because Bruce is someone that when everything is going well, something bad's gonna happen, and the Hulk taking complete control over the body again and doing the World War Hulk in a different area would be a really cool thing to do. But it really is, where is Hulk going? Where is he going? Like, the cell connection dropped and we don't even know what he's doing. We just know it's Kree, I believe. Was it the Kree ship?
Yeah.
And then he's gone.
I actually don't know if that was Kree, because it might have been, but
we don't know what's going to happen, and that's going to be cool as well, because I thought Mark Ruffalo's job was wrapping up. And I thought he was going to be done. He was going to leave. And it seems like he's here to stay now, which I'm completely fine with. And we now know that Hulk is going back into space, which was where he really got a lot of good character development in Ragnarok. So
Yeah.
where is Hulk going? I know this is about Jennifer Walters, but I'll change it. That was my number 5. Emil was my number 4. But where is Hulk going, and does this lead into something big for Hulk in the future?
So this is actually my number 3. It literally says in all cap, what stuff does Bruce need to take care of in space? And are we getting Planet Hulk?
I thought you were looking at me like, oh, why is he doing this? They were not talking about something like this. Okay, no. I'm glad. Okay, that's good.
No,
that's
I love this tease. And I think I was convinced Ruffalo, his time at the MCU was coming to an end, but he obviously clearly has a bigger part to play in this.
Yeah.
Between Shang-Chi, him trying to help Shang-Chi figure out this power surge that happened when he used these 10 rings that was similar to when the Infinity Stones are used. Now all of a sudden he's getting hunted down by the ship, which also I was like, when that ship happened, the car accident, I was like, are they just not going to talk about that? Here it is in this. So I hope we get little more snippets of this that leads up to something. Now what would be cool is I don't think this is going to lead to World War Hulk. I think it's going to lead to Planet Hulk. And the reason I said this is because the second version of Secret Wars that came out in 2015, I believe Planet Hulk, I believe, I could be wrong, had a tie-in to Secret Wars. So I don't know if they're going to try to do something like that where Planet Hulk will have a tie-in with Secret Wars. That's going to come out at the end of Phase 6, essentially, I believe is what it would be.
We're at the point where it's just like, it's just everything. Everything is everything.
It's going to come out at the end of the multiversal saga. There we go. Yeah. So I'm interested to see how that's going to go. Because basically we got the Hulk thing in July of 2021 was when Shang-Chi came out? No, September of 2021, I think, or August, whatever. About a year ago, we got the Shang-Chi Bruce connection. Now we're getting another Bruce. So are we going to see little bits and pieces? Maybe next year we'll get another little piece of what Bruce is doing, and then another piece, and then we get to Secret Wars. And maybe Planet Hulk in the future. I don't know, but that was an awesome scene because the whole time I thought he was just in Mexico and he's on a ship in space, and I want to know what's happening. Will it connect to She-Hulk? I personally don't think so, but maybe we'll get one more little snippet of what's happening. Maybe that's, me and you talked about, we thought there was going to be joke end credit scenes for all first 8 episodes, and then the final one's going to have a big one. Maybe what Hulk is up to is that big one at episode 9, so we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, that's true. And I think what this also shows is Hulk has a bigger future in the MCU, but I think it also shows that Jennifer is now the new Hulk of the Avengers. If we're going to see that for the Avengers. We don't know when she's going to show up. But that's a good number 3 because it's my number 4/5. My number 3 is the Jennifer dealing with how she gets fired. And I think it's just such an interesting role of what it is because Jennifer finally made it to where she wants to be. She's doing so well. She does something heroic. She does something selfless. And because of that, and it's a really good showing, it's especially like how Peter Parker was when he was, when he was out into the world, where it's no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah.
Where she forces a mistrial, and now the whole entire public, she's too good. She's too good to do something. And because of this, she gets completely screwed. No one will hire her until she is literally hired to be part of something that she now is.
And I love that part too, in that where she's like, what was I supposed to do? Just let this table just crush all of them? And they were like, well, no. And I'm like, well, it's just like that duality of it. Like, yeah, you did a good thing, but like, because you did that good thing, here's a shit thing that's going to happen to you kind of thing. Exactly. Like, sorry, thanks for saving those people, but no, thanks.
You did well, but you did too well. Get out.
Yeah.
So I am wondering who. We know that Titania is now an influencer.
Yeah.
She's an influencer superhero, which welcome to 2022.
Yep.
That's all. We can't talk about her. We don't know anything about her.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 3 is her dealing with kind of like the repercussions of when you're a Hulk, you don't get that one-to-one. You don't have a secret identity. Right. That's that.
Yeah. My number 2 is going to be Jennifer visiting her parents' house. That whole dinner table scene was laugh out loud funny, and that's where we get into this whole, I was really nervous this is going to be a sitcom, but it actually is good while also being a fun Marvel story so far. I think this is going to be one of those shows that when you watch it in full, that's when you get the more Marvel side of these things, but then you're going to get the fun sitcom thing episode by episode, but then the big picture, I think you're going to get more of a traditional Marvel look mixed with the sitcom, whereas obviously right now it's kind of piecemeal together, and I like that. But that dinner table scene was hilarious. The fact that they're all like oh yeah, you got fired, but the dad told everybody not to say everything, and of course, family hijinks is going to ensue. They're going to tell everybody. But my favorite thing, laugh out loud, probably in this whole episode, besides the haikus, because that's a class of its own. I don't know if it was her uncle and aunt or something like that, but them just bragging about that like deadbeat son who is like working at Best Buy. He's like employed and promoted, or promoted and employed, or something like that. Just taking a dig at Jennifer Walters, who's obviously clearly much more successful than whoever that kid was. Laugh out loud funny by that old guy there. But then you also has the sweet moments too, where but reminds me of like those old '90s sitcoms where like the dad's an idiot because Jennifer's dad is an idiot, but then he can also have those nice tender moments as well, kind of like the Homer Simpson effect. Like Homer's a dumbass in The Simpsons, but then he'll have a nice moment here and there with his kids, kind of thing, a nice fatherly moment. So he looks like the butt of the joke, but then also helps out a little bit. So that's what the dad reminded me of, besides like strangling his kid because She-Hulk would just kick his butt.
Exactly. And my number two is also the family.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about the dad for a second. So the dad is famous from the late 80s into 90s. It's Mark Lynn Baker, and he was Larry Appleton in Perfect Strangers, which is, I believe, a sitcom that lasted for about 6-7 years, 150 episodes, back in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was a really popular show. So it was funny seeing, like, I like when they get old sitcom characters that come back. It's like, oh, they used to be the star, now they're the quirky dad, now they're the so blah blah blah. And I thought he was a really fun character, and it was such a funny scene because I don't think it's hard to write the family scenes, but it's hard to write good ones, and they really like captured the essence of it. And it's also like, I feel like everyone's been doing the family episodes, because if you watch What We Do in the Shadows, which if you listen in Europe, it's technically, I believe, on Disney Plus, because FX and Star. But they also just did a family episode that like had me cracking up and everything. So,
and sorry, real quick, but what was good about this too is like it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
The joke, if it went on like a minute or two longer, it would have been old. It was a perfectly cut scene. I thought it was just nice, funny, but like, let's keep moving here.
And I'll add in the end credit scene for this one, because it was coming back to it, and like it's exactly what you would do. You'd exploit your child that's now superhuman strength, and it cracked me up with him opening the door.
Yeah, and that was a great buffer. That for you.
And she doesn't need it, but yeah. It was a good little end joke to end the episode.
Because I literally thought in my head, I was like, oh, they're gonna do something too where like she has to move something for like a refrigerator or something, and that was literally one of the end credit scene like pictures, the paintings that they do, like the court sketches. But like it was good because you continue the joke, but it was like with a good buffer of everything else in between, so it wasn't like, okay, this went on too long. It was a good little slice in there, so I really liked how they did that.
Exactly. We're down to number one. I'm guessing it's probably the same. I would think it's
mine, because mine was, well, I don't know, because mine I think was part of yours already, but my number one is the scene between Jen and Abomination. Is that yours?
Mine is the ending of it. Is the ending of the episode. So kind of there.
So I really love the scene between Jennifer and Abomination, because like Jennifer the whole time is like, I can't do this, like there's conflict of interest here. But then I like when Marvel shows can explore the morality of things, because like when I watched Hulk, I was like, yeah, get him, Hulk, like kick Abomination's butt, he should be arrested. But then Emil Blonsky like puts it perfectly. He goes, I got pumped with super soldier serum that made me crazy. The US government sanctioned it for me. I was supposed to be the hero, and now I'm the villain, and your brother, or sorry, you're not your brother, but your cousin is this giant hero who gets to walk amongst everyone else with this brute strength and whatnot, and I'm just like sitting here, even though I was created, like Bruce was an accident, and like sure he was an accident, but like I was created to stop Bruce, or to at least like help advance the US military, and now I'm the bad guy locked up in here. So I really like that, because you get that morality thing, but then also you get the end where like, oh yeah, like no, I don't do Abomination, but except for these underground fight rings that I help out in and probably do some weird things. So that I really liked, because Jennifer like is convinced, yeah, I'll take this case, and then kind of blows up in her face once that gets revealed that he's been escaping the prison with Wong this whole time. One thing that I forgot about this whole thing, and this is why I'm excited, this is why I think this is my number one, because I'm theorizing here, and I'm probably gonna break my heart and be wrong. I forgot Hulk versus Abomination took place in Harlem. Who do we have coming in the show? Daredevil. Who works in Harlem? Luke Cage. What if you bring in Luke Cage into the MCU as a character witness and say, when I, like, you can make it like when he was a kid or a teenager, like his whole block got destroyed because of this Hulk versus Abomination fight? Because obviously there's going to be a lawyer show in this aspect of it too. Even though Jennifer probably doesn't want to like defend Abomination at this point, she's kind of stuck with this case now. So what if you brought in Luke Cage as a character witness while you also have Daredevil, and you can still have everyone from the Netflix Marvel shows just somehow get them into the MCU? I think that would be kind of fun. That's my little like headcanon. Like, so if we see Luke Cage, your boy called it here.
That'd be cool.
But I just love the whole scene, and the haikus were just so funny. No, I don't need to. I don't know. You're gonna hear them. You're gonna hear them. Like, it is what it is. This is what we're gonna do. But that whole scene was very funny, and it just made the show.
And exactly. And what's next is always interesting because it still needs to be a superhero show.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And we're getting to it. Like, we now have this mic drop that we already know happened. How long ago was this video? Because that was the footage from Shang-Chi.
Yeah,
when
the
is
exact
She-Hulk,
footage.
when is She-Hulk taking place? That's a really good question at this moment. And we now know that Wong is the one that lets him out.
Yeah.
We know this. So what is Wong's idea in it? Will Wong be a character witness? He's hilarious. His actor's hilarious.
Yeah.
So will he be a character witness in favor of Emil? So there's all these things that are setting up to be good. Again, we kicked off very fast with this episode, with this show, which is really good. The pace is key. I am going to take a wild guess that Daredevil is in next episode. I feel like.
See, I don't know if he is. I think Wong is for sure in the next one, but I don't know.
Wong is definitely. We're going to have the book of American laws, that weird line. We're going to have that one. So we're going to see, because now there's going to be a sorcerer also on Emil's side with Jennifer. So what are they going to do? What are they going to hatch up? And
now I'll say this.
Yes.
I want this show. I know it wasn't a well-received finale. I loved it because I saw it when I was a kid. When I probably shouldn't have been watching the show as a kid. I want the finale of Seinfeld to just be the last 2 episodes of She-Hulk, where it's just like a parade of cameos from everything in the MCU. I want Wong. I want Luke Cage. I want Matt Murdock. I want Karen Page. I want everyone to just come through and either give their yay or nay for Abomination.
You brought up a good point.
To jail.
You just had my light bulb ding. Like you said, they rampaged Harlem.
Yeah.
Luke Cage is in Harlem. Depending on what is happening with the Defenders, I mean, we've pretty much been told he's coming back as Luke Cage. What if we don't see Daredevil next week, but Matt Murdock is the person that is the lawyer representing the people against Emil, against Abomination? And now Matt Murdock is the one, because he is trying to keep Harlem safe, and he is doing that to pay it back. So who knows? Maybe it's that.
That'd be interesting.
He is a lawyer in New York City, so.
Well, here's my only thing against it is, like, he was on Spider-Man's side. Like, he was going to, you know what I mean? So I know it wasn't Daredevil, it was Matt Murdock, but like he was going to represent Spider-Man. I think he's going to end up joining this GLKH, whatever the heck it is. Like,
that was my other thought. I just remembered he's also he's a defense attorney, not a prosecutor. So
yeah, that's the other thing too.
So yeah, maybe just ignore that. But I think it could end with him joining.
Yeah,
which would also be cool. So.
I just want him and Foggy to just have their own law firm with Karen, but we'll see what happens. But I think we're gonna get more cameos in the show. I think this is gonna be the show, not Doctor Strange or the Multiverse of Madness. I think this is where we're gonna get the most cameos. Is this show?
I could see it because it's easy to do it in a sitcom, because it can just be a one-off. That we have seen. Well, we know we're getting yellow suit Daredevil for this.
Can't wait for that.
There has been some images surfacing around that maybe for the Echo show or the Daredevil show himself, he's going to be black suit Daredevil, which is the Hell's Kitchen. I
want all of that.
what's it called? It's
Devil's Reign.
The Devil's Reign suit would be so cool.
I think it's Devil's Reign. I think it's
But
black.
I really like the yellow suit. So it's going to be interesting to see where we're going, and I hope it picks up, because I don't want to get lost in it again. I want it to be flowing completely through, and that's been the issue. We're getting to the point in the Marvel show where previous groups have kind of faltered or fizzled just for a little bit and then catching themselves at the end. I'm hoping we don't get that. It's less time. It's a comedy, so it's a little bit easier, but we shall see.
That's one thing me and you texted about on
Yep,
Thursday morning was like, I'm loving how short these are because I want long shows for a show like that's more serious,
exactly.
like Moon Knight and WandaVision and stuff. But like this is like nice, quick 20-30 minutes, but it's not just like it's action packed the whole time. And by action packed, I mean you get the sitcom and you get the superhero stuff. So it's been good so far. But
Exactly.
Cliff, I think that's it.
I think that's it. We have 2 episodes down. Like as we always say, this would be so much better if we had multiple episodes at a time to do it. But it's under a half hour.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's shorter than the show. That's all that matters.
Yes. Cliff, where can they find you if they want to talk about She-Hulk or anything else coming to Disney Plus, especially with Disney Plus Day coming out next week?
Yes, you can find me at CP Robinson 81.
Awesome. And you can find me at CamRamos95 on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Twitter at Stream the Mouse. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Streaming with the Mouse Podcast. You can find us on our YouTube channel as well. Just be sure to search for Streaming with the Mouse Disney Plus Podcast, and you'll find us there, as well as on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts. Please make sure to like, rate, review, subscribe, 5 stars, all the above to those podcasts, so we get as many ears and eyeballs onto this podcast as we can, as we talk more about She-Hulk, and soon to be Andor, and soon to be Bad Batch, because I also saw a rumor 5 seconds ago that might actually be coming out in September again.
26th or 28th or something
so
like
we'll see if that happens. That's going to be a lot of Star Wars. Can't wait for that.
Hell yeah.
But thanks for listening, everybody, and we hope to interact with you soon on social, and we'll be back next week where we'll talk about episode 3 of Marvel Studios' She-Hulk, Attorney at Law. Have a great day, and have a magical day.
Yeah. Bye, guys.